Yeah!
Hola gang, and welcome again to Old Nerd Reviews. I'm Tony, I'm your old nerd of the day. And I try things so you don't have to. Today we're trying noodles. Noodles and noodles and noodles and oodles of noodles. The people over at One Culture Foods sent me a bunch of bone broth noodle cups. These are supposed to be a healthier alternative to getting your traditional cup of noodles at the store. There is no, according to them, there is no artificial flavoring, there's no preservatives, there's no MSG, and they're not fried. So all that good stuff has taken the flavor up a level. Now, I like cup of noodles and have for years and years and years and years. But the problem is, it no longer likes me. The 25-cent cup of noodles stuff gives me heartburn, just like the cheap ramen stuff does. So whenever I can find something that is a higher level, I look forward to it because I know that I'm going to probably more than likely get the enjoyment that I used to get out of a cheap cup of noodles, but it's not going to give me heartburn and it's going to taste better. And I've never had bone broth cups, so I'm not sure what to expect, but it's always an adventure. All right, so what they sent me was a Chinese chicken noodle bone broth cup. They sent me a Japanese spicy ramen, a Taiwanese beef noodle, and a Vietnamese beef pho. I think that's how you pronounce it. I think that's the way my son said to pronounce it, so I didn't look ridiculous, because I always slaughter names and brands and stuff. But I think it's pho, so Vietnamese beef pho. Now, another cool thing about these is you make them like a regular cup of noodles, like, you put water in it and wait until it's done, and there's your lunch. But these are microwavable. So if you don't have a kettle at your disposal or any kind of hot water dispenser, all you need to do is fill it up with water and cook it, and there you go. So it's all self-contained, which is nice. First one I'm going to try is the Chinese chicken noodle. Let me go ahead and put on the old guy goggles. I'm going to read you on the back what it says about it. By the way, these are 3.65 ounce bone broth cups. This Chinese classic will take you around the world and back in 3 minutes. Experience fresh cooked noodles, ginger, and shiitake mushrooms in our light chicken bone broth for a closest to homemade taste. And then it goes on with a lot of fluff. But you empty all the ingredients into it. You fill it to the water line, microwave for 2 minutes on high, loosen the noodles, 30 seconds more on high, and enjoy. So there you go. And there is the Chinese chicken noodle straight out of the microwave. I really like the fact that the noodles are not like the hard, crunchy ones you get in the cup of noodles. You had the noodles and the dry seasoning packet and the wet sauce packet, and that is it all together. Alrighty, let's go ahead and give it a shot. Let's do it again. Grab some of the chicken and the mushroom stuff on there. There we go. This is pretty nice, pretty smooth. It's definitely not going to give me heartburn, because I can tell it's higher quality ingredients. The flavor comes through nicely. I think I'd probably, and this is my personal preference, I think I would probably add less water than it says, because I'm not a big broth fan. And, the more water you add, of course, the more it's going to dull down the flavors that you have in it. So I think I'd add a little less. But the noodles are tender and everything's pretty tasty. All right, the next one I'm going to try is the Japanese spicy ramen. Let me go ahead and read you what it says about this one. This Japanese classic will take you around the world and back in 3 minutes, like the last one. Experience fresh cooked noodles, roasted seaweed, and scallions in our spicy chicken bone broth for a closest to homemade taste. So that is the difference. Seaweed, scallions, and spicy chicken bone broth, and the noodles. And looks the same as the last one. It's got noodles all enclosed in that packet, and slightly different. There's the packet of the wet stuff, the wet, not seasoning, but the wet sauce. And this has to be the dry seasoning, so the scallions and the seaweed. So there is that one, all the noodles and the seasoning and the sauce all together. Definitely has a strong aroma, stronger than the chicken noodles. So let's give this a shot. Oh, definitely spicy. Oh, wow. Woo. That is definitely spicy. Noodles are nice once again. I'm trying to talk. Noodles are nice once again. And then you've got the seasoning. The seasoning, the flavor comes through. I did add a little less water than what it said. Like I told you I would, for personal preference, just to let the flavors come through more flavor, less water. So yeah, the seasoning is really nice, very spicy. It's just good, and then like I said, the noodles are tender. Yeah, I doubt that I would opt for this one again, just because I don't like spicy, not because it's not good, because it is good, but you know, heat, extreme heat, which is kind of a middle of the road heat. Actually, I'm just not a heat guy, so I'm a heat wimp. But the heat usually tends to rob me of flavors, but this has a lot of flavor to it. Okay, the next one I'm going to do is the Vietnamese Beef Pho. Like I said, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I probably slaughtered it, but Vietnamese Beef Pho. Experience authentic rice noodles, warm spices, and cilantro in our aromatic beef bone broth for a closest to homemade taste. So rice noodles, warm spices, I don't know what that is, and cilantro in our aromatic beef bone broth. I'm not a fan of cilantro, so I kind of hope that that's a little bit laid back, or that it meshes so well with everything else I really can't taste it strongly. So once again, this is the Vietnamese Beef Pho. You can tell that the noodles are thinner because of them being rice noodles, and you can see all the seasoning floating around in there. It does have a cilantro aroma to it. Odor. I would say odor, because like I said, I hate cilantro. But we're gonna give it a try and hope for the best. Taking all that noodle. Okay. Let's do it again. Okay, that smell of cilantro is definitely deceiving. And I think it's because of the extra added spices and seasoning in this that is kind of curtailing and taking the flavor of cilantro way back. I can taste it. I can taste the cilantro, but meshed with everything else, doesn't even matter. It's good. Noodles are tender. They're a little bit different. Obviously, they like to love up on each other like that, so it's a little more of a bite to get through them. And I don't tend to like Vietnamese and Korean type food, Thai type food also. But this is nice. The all of the flavors so far has had a nice amount, just a perfect amount of salt. I like salty food, but this has a perfect amount of salt. And yeah, it has a lot of nice flavor to it. Okay, the last one we're gonna try today is the Taiwanese beef noodle. Experience fresh cooked noodles, 5-spice, and cilantro again in our savory beef bone broth for a closest to homemade taste. So it's not much different than what we just tried, the Vietnamese beef pho. This is a Taiwanese beef noodle, so it's kind of the same, only it's Taiwanese instead of Vietnamese, with the addition of 5-spice in it. There is the Taiwanese beef noodle. See the noodles and the 5-spice and the cilantro all floating together. Now I can smell the 5-spice. I'm a fan of 5-spice. I like it. It kind of has a cinnamon flavor to it. I'm not sure if that's one of the spices of 5-spice. I don't know. All I know is I like it. So it smells good. Let's give it a shot. Let's do it again. This is really nice. No heat to it. The only heat to be had in any of them was the spicy one. Noodles are tender. It's the thicker noodles, obviously, and not the rice noodles, the thin rice noodles of the last one. The 5-spice flavor really comes through. Once again, which is not surprising, the 5-spice is holding back the extreme flavor of cilantro. It is noticeable in there, but not as much as the 5-spice. Luckily, it hides that for me. Like I said, I'm not much of a broth guy, but I think out of all the ones I've had, this broth I would drink after I ate all the noodles. All right, so that is all of them. All of the One Culture Foods beef broth cups. I think out of the ones I had, my favorite would be a toss-up between the Vietnamese beef pho and the Taiwanese beef noodle, those two. I'm not sure what I prefer more because I like the rice noodles in here, but I like the broth better in here because of the 5-spice. So pick a poison, I guess. These are a big step over the typical cup of noodles, and like I said, I like the fact that it's very convenient. It's very self-contained because all you need to do is add the water into the cup, stick it in the nuker, and there it is right there. So no bowl, no boiling water or anything like that. Just one self-contained lunch or dinner. Thank you people over at One Culture Foods for sending these my way so I could try them and show all you guys all the goodies. I'll put a link down below in the description and you can go and check it out yourself, all the flavors and where you can pick these things up. I think my son told me that he has seen them over at Whole Foods. There you go, gang, another review in the bag. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and remember, I put out videos whenever I put out videos. You guys have a freaking awesome day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye now. Oh, that was a verb. Oh.